Well, ladies and gentlemen, I don't know how this week is going to turn out for the Pittsburgh Steelers, but I can tell you one thing. One coach is getting fired at the end of this season, and it's going to be whoever loses this game. So there's a lot on the line here, in my opinion, but let's go and get into it. The Pittsburgh Steelers are going to be facing off against the Baltimore Ravens this weekend, and as of right now, I'm not going to talk bet odds or anything, but I don't know how my Steelers are going to be able to pull this one off because coming off of last week, the Ravens did fall to the Cincinnati Bengals 32-14. And no, the Bengals have not been able to get the offense moving. So they haven't scored over 24 points in 3 weeks, which is kind of a good sign. But now if we go look at the Steelers offense has not done much better. We've had a lot of offensive struggles, and you can see in the last few weeks we had 28 against the Bears, but that our defense was very good. And then, we kind of just sold there at the end with 7 against the Bills, 34 against the Bengals, and whatever that game was. That game didn't even make any sense. And then 10 against the Chargers, in a lot of these games. Our offenses honestly, I don't know, the numbers have not reflected how good our offense is because when we played against the Bengals, I swear it was not that impressive. Our defense pretty much did everything that game. But now we have an issue. We have to stop the run. And there is a guy that kind of broke off for a big run last week named Derrick Henry. And he has been struggling this year because the Ravens' offensive line has been very bad. So usually you're expecting our matchups to be more like Titan battles. You think it's going to be like, defensive iron Titans versus... No, they're both fairly poor this year. So the biggest thing that I think we could do is be able to stop Derrick Henry, because if we can, we'll be able to force turnovers because we have 21 turnovers on the year. 10 interceptions. Lamar Jackson. Now, I don't understand why, but every time it seems like it's third down, 3rd and 12, he's always getting them out of field goal range with a sack, fumbling the ball, or not throwing an interception because he's not super turnover prone that way. But, bro, these fumbles, and, he's not playing to his full self yet, and I don't know if he will be able to do that this weekend, but we should be able to take advantage of that, getting a lot of pressure. Plus, TJ Watt, he's been okay, but this season he hasn't blown me out the water. I haven't had that signature, that TJ Watt game where you're going to remember it for this year. When you look back in 2025, you're going to be like, wow, what did TJ Watt do? And you're going to look back to that game. Hasn't happened really, in my opinion. And it's just gotten to the point where I'm kind of waiting for that spark, because we need that to be able to win. And if we win, this does not change any of my opinions about how I said anything in the last video. Mike Tomlin has done very poor this year with Arthur Smith, especially as probably one of the worst choices for offensive coordinator, with having no real run game. We have some weird-ass screenplays we get with Kenneth Gainwell. We get some nice plays, and I will say, he is pretty nice. And, I like Jaylen Warren. He's decent, but it just hasn't had no real power. No one looks at our offense and is scared of anything besides Darnell Washington, which I will say I don't think will be a breakout game this week. But offensively, our tight ends are big for us, and offensively for the Ravens too. Again, they have their 2 tight ends, Isaiah Likely and Mark Andrews, who have been probably their 2 biggest backbones this year, because not a lot of other guys. DeAndre Hopkins, I think, had 25 yards last week, and Zay Flowers has not been doing a ton. And I don't know how much of that you do get the blame on the offensive line, but there's a high chance that this game is probably going to end 13-10. And Aaron Rodgers, I think, is coming back. But Kyle Hamilton, bro, if he comes off that edge and... Oh, bro, come on. Rodgers might end up in a nursing home within the next 2 years if he plays any more football, because this Ravens defense, though it hasn't been great, these last few weeks have been getting a little dangerous in some games. Now, against the Bengals, it was belt to ass, but again, that's Joe Burrow and Jamar Chase. At some point, you kind of have to be like, well, those guys are kind of good. They might get some yards on us. And honestly, 261, 24 for 46, and a sack with only an 83 rating, that's not that bad, because their offense last week, Lamar had 3 sacks, an interception. How many fumbles did he have? I mean, I know it was crazy. I think he had 3 fumbles, right? or 2 fumbles. They had 4 fumbles total. That's absolutely insane. That's like ridiculous. So, so let's wrap it up here though. With the Steelers, the biggest thing we're going to have to be able to do is stop that run, because I don't think the pass is going to be there. But I will say our secondary has been very sorry. I don't know what we're doing, but whenever we're playing off 20 yards and they're just like, especially that Bengals game, that was the most sickening thing. But the Bills game was worse, because what did we have? Last week, James Cook had 144 rushing yards. They had 249 total. So it's like Derrick Henry hasn't been better than James Cook this year, but is he better than James Cook? Maybe, probably. I don't know. That we could talk about that in the comments if y'all want to talk about something. But Henry, he's been waiting to have that signature game too. What's the most he's rushed for this year? I don't think it's been for over what? Let's see. Do I have my mic on? Derrick Henry rushing total this year. Derrick Henry is at 931 yards, and he has had, it's nothing crazy this year. No crazy Derrick Henry timing. So, unless it's about to start now, I'd be very disappointed. But defensively, though, the Ravens, I think they're going to have a big issue with. They're going to be able to cause the Steelers some big issues, because what Aaron Rodgers is going to be able to do. DK Metcalf, is he going to be able to do anything? We got rid of George Pickens. I'm not going to go there. DK, if you're watching this, could we maybe play football? Roman Wilson, could you maybe learn how to play football? Darnell Washington, you're doing pretty good. And Pat Freiermuth, season receiving yards. He's had 298, bro. He's been gone. Where is he at? I don't know. We'll have to find him in the next video. I'll see you on the next one, man. Steelers win 10-13. Ravens turn the ball over. Lamar fumbles it twice. One time in the first half, one time in the fourth quarter. He throws 1 pick. Aaron Rodgers throws a pick. We fumble it somewhere. So it's going to be like 5 turnovers total. And then, I don't know. That's all I got for y'all. It's going to be a nasty game. Make sure y'all leave a like and subscribe, man. I'll see you on the next one. Peace.